Friends, we are going to take now time for the morning Dhamma talk, the last one. You may take a seat and give the consent with sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So tata samahitam chittam sadhukam ajjupekkhita hoti upekha sambojjango tasmin samaye bhikkhuno aradho hoti. Yeah, vendors, my friends, we are in the process of learning 7 enlightenment factors. So far we have covered 6 out of 7. And today we are reaching the last one, Upekha Sambodhana. Enlightenment factor of 4. Equanimity enlightenment factor. So for that only there are 6 preliminaries, conducive factors, proximate causes, and one by one these chain reactions happen according to this set of Dhamma. Upekha is the last one. The proximate one is the Samadhi, concentration. When the concentration happens, mind is ready to be equanimous. At that time is the time to initiate the enlightenment factor of enlightenment. Equanimity, enlightenment factor. So, it is like when we are going to a seesaw game or seesaw entertainment, we are sitting at the furthest end, and that's the place where we get the highest fluctuation and the dramatic kind of enjoyment. But whenever you come more closer and closer and closer to the center, just on the pivotal point, there's the least amount of fluctuation, ups and downs, and then you can experience it is resting upon this pivot, the peg. And there you understand, as far as the samahitam chittam, the mind is mature enough and it is in the calm down situation, it is being supported by upekha. Whenever you go to the further and further and further, life becomes very dramatic, lot of events, and it is far away from the concentration. So in Salayatanika Sutta, the Buddha is explaining how from the furthest end, coming closer and closer, and ultimately come to the just on the pivot. And there you can see a wave, but no much and fluctuation, much of up and down. And there you can understand upekha. And there the Buddha gives some more clues, says how much ignorant I was in this journey, because I just wanted to have a dramatic life, have a lot of fluctuations, and so much so, you are burning the candle from both the ends, and a lot of friction, lot of wear and tear. But when you come to the center, more towards the concentration, there you can see it is resting upon upekha, and that is the point you can understand how much you have created unwanted, unwholesome things, instead of just being. And that upekha, understanding is just mere understanding of ignorance. But you are understanding on the spot. So therefore it is not an insult. It is not an inferiority, not a reason to have inferiority complex. And that very understanding of your own ignorance is the knowledge. They are reciprocal each other. So one has to take so much long journey to understand how to earn samadhi, how to calm down. You are calming down the bodily activities, verbal activities, and mental also. By the way, you have restrained your moral aspects, concentration aspect, and then only the wisdom aspect can bloom. Then only you can understand Bekha as well as your own ignorance. And that very understanding on the spot, under your very nose, is the reality, is the things as they are. So therefore Bekha is a very, very crucial thing in understanding, and we call equanimity, or we call sometimes not shaken by the 8 vicissitudes, 8 aspects of our life, not to get shaken by fame or blame, pleasure or pain, gain or the loss. Likewise, otherwise, when the mind is not fully mindful and sustainable, and when it is not developed with other qualities, you're always wobbling up and down with these vicissitudes of the world. But when it comes to the samadhi as well as the upekha, you understand how contented is the present moment, how fulfilled is the present moment by doing nothing. You learn gradually. And that understanding, the upekha is making the platform for that, and to see your own ignorance, your own motivation, your own something to be, is the root cause for all the physical, verbal, and mental thing. And whatever these things disturb you and give tension, frustration, and the friction, still your potential to be mindful, potential to be concentrated, potential to understand upekha is undisturbed. So that is the way, that is why, that is the importance of being a human. So otherwise, most of the time we are regretting about the bad deeds or wrong deeds we have done, and something we have not achieved. So therefore, often you are not with the content. But at the upekha level, at the samadhi level, and the highest level of concentration, then you can understand. So the samadhi, the Buddha represented upekha satipalsuddhi chatutta jhana samadhi. The 4th rupa jhana enriched with mindfulness and concentration. So even before the enlightenment of very Buddha, the samadhi was there. They were having not only the rupa jhana, but even arupa jhana. But the jhana we are, or samadhi, talking about in this level is empowered by mindfulness, and that samadhi together with mindfulness is opening the doorway to upekha. So upekha is the kind of steadfast thing, unshaken by these opposites, and you just like riding a ship in a calm water. And when these 7 enlightenment factors happening, you have to master it. You have to do it again and again, and some kind of a galvanizing effect is happening. The reinforcement is happening. So once you understood, or we'll say like that, once you initiated or embarked, then you have to keep on practicing to make it more established, and then you are doing the mastery or seasoning or galvanizing. So when that happens, it's a kind of a maturity in your spiritual life. One by one, Buddha explained, Ita bhikkhave bhikkhu sati sambojjhantam bhaveti viveka nishitang viraga nishitang nirodha nishitang vasarva karna. You earlier, as a beginner, you try to understand the meaning of mindfulness and how to apply it in sitting, how to apply it in walking, how to apply it in day-to-day activities and other different aspects of your life, including the mindful games. So then you are a beginner. And later when you keep on practicing, so to say, after participating in this kind of a retreat 3-4 times, and once you introduce into your day-to-day life, you try as much as possible be mindful as well. So when it is happening, you find your way of life is not much of a problem for the mindfulness to grow. At the beginning, you have to go to a meditation center, you have to achieve, observe 8 precepts, you have to have the fellow meditators, silence, and food must be given from outside, all the other 4 requisites must be given, and you are embarking the mindful journey. And later, when you back at home, you know each and everything, and according to the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha enumerated each and every aspect in your life. While you are going forward, coming backwards, stretching your arm, bending your arm, looking sideways, looking forward, every aspect. Even when you go to the toilet, when you are in the first and the second joke, can be mindful. So that is the way you are incorporating. And once that is happened, you have to see the pros and cons. Morning time, is it good for mindfulness compared with the evening time? Before meal mindfulness and the after meal mindfulness. Before walking meditation and after walking meditation. Before a good Dhamma talk and after a good Dhamma talk. With mindful co-practitioners or without. So that these things will be well recorded and journalized, and you can understand when you are mastering, you have to adjust it in long run. That means from today onward till you die, to the deathbed, the time period is with you now. With all the odds, now you have somewhat understood how to incorporate it in your life, but you have to refine it in order to have the galvanizing effect, in order to have this mastery. There you have to, with this understanding, you have to think about your morality with samma vacha, samma kammanta, samma aji. You know what is to be maximized, and with that understanding, what are the things you must and what are the things you must not talk about. That's samma vacha. So in a community, among the other non-mindfulness fellow beings, the talking. And that is the most draining factor, very difficult to maintain mindfulness while we are talking and all the kind of things. So therefore, Samma Vacha is not doing something, not talking. Otherwise, there's lying, slandering, harsh words, tail carrying, and all kind of things happen. As far as you are in the community, very difficult to do away with it. But with this Samadhi, Sama Sankappa, that we have good mindset and the way of thinking, you understand not talking, observing the silence, is you get 100% purity as far as the verbal activities are concerned. And in Samma Kammanta, whatever you do, how much do we do things for the luxuries, for just consumerization, to maintain status when compared with the utility. And in the evolution of the man, we can see. And more you go for this luxurious way and consumerizing way, no end. And at the deathbed, it works negative. But that does not mean that you have to have the basic needs. And even the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, they say the present amount of grains we are producing in the world is enough for the population. But 10% of the people using about 50% of the total crop and using for alcohol and using for all the other things. And if it is too much of stock, they put into the sea in order to maintain the price. And so much of people sleeping without the dinner. That is because our perverted way of looking at. So utility value wise, world is a good place. So therefore, when you are doing some karma, you have to understand why, what is this motivation. And when you come to a place like this, we know what are the basics we need, and we do away with the dinner, and we compromise for the common facilities. Now, how much happy we are as a family members. We call mindful family. Everyone is equal. And there is no such gradation, status kind of thing. Everyone is respecting each other. And therefore, what must be your livelihood, your physical work? So it appears like it is not going for productivity, not going for creativity, and just learning how to say no. This is a very difficult task if you wish to teach that as a subject in the school and to create a society and promote the people. This won't be. But we community here, we have exemplified for a few days now. So that you have to incorporate in time to come. And the last one is the livelihood, Sama Ajivika. So according to the historical, prehistoric Buddhist era, the Buddha recognized the farming and the animal husbandry are the most natural jobs. But these are also now completely destroyed with the chemicals and all the kind of things. So therefore, doing a job means you are knowingly or unknowingly, you also take part in this kind of thing. And then what someone also asked that what is the best thing in that sense? Best is to get all day, be a beggar. Go with arms full, get that you receive from the donors and do away with the dinner and try to manage with 2 meals. And that is the biggest. So once Buddha got enlightened and he was happy, and for 7 years time he developed 12,000 disciples. By the time his father, the king Suddhodana, was sending message one after the other, please invite him to come back to his own city. But nine ministers or messengers went there and get ordained. They forgot about the message. They never come back. The last person was the person who was born together with the Prince Siddhartha and grown up together. So ultimately the father told, you are a good friend, but don't forget about the message. Please tell him that I am waiting. Then he told all the other people went there and got ordained. If you are giving me permission to get ordained, then I will get ordained and practice and then pass the message. And with that, he was traveling so many of days, 12,000 disciples, and the factual fresh Buddha, very fresh. And he was coming, and the day he came to his city, it was night, and all the 12,000 monks and kind, they were there in the Nikrodhara, the forest, this thing, and next day morning, the Buddha got up and see, for that 12,000 disciples, no one needs to give toothpicks, no one needs to give water, no one needs to give hot water, no one invited for the breakfast. So he was thinking what to do. First he managed and he took the ball and went answered. Eventually he went in front of the palace, this place. And his ex-wife, the Yasodhara, saw coming, and she can't believe how Prince to be king and now begging in front of the palace. She passed the message to the father-in-law, and he was so shocked. There's not enough time to wear proper. He was wearing only the lower part, topless. He went to the Buddha. And what are you doing here? That why don't you come into the palace? So, there was no invitation. And this is the tradition. This is the tradition of the Aryans. And king, he can't believe. Just no, our tradition, we are kingly fellow and princely fellows. We are feasting. We never go. No, that is your tradition. This is our tradition. This is the way so much of Buddha practice. And in the discussion, he got Sotapan. The changing of values, how it is for the enlightened beings or the training people, and for the secular, specifically for the kings. So this livelihood, you have to practice. So that way you are now using your mindful life, not like a beginner, not like incorporating into your life, whole life as the mindfulness as the basic theme. There it says Viveka. Viveka means in the free way. Earlier you are very tense. When you are practicing mindfulness, if you go unmindful, you are not happy. If someone is coughing, you are not happy. That's the way you are practicing mindfulness. Now, when you are mastering, you take everything under the light of mindfulness, whether you or others. So that is called Viveka. Do it in a free way or secluded way. And then Viraga dispassionate way. Otherwise, when the mindfulness is sets in, you are happy. When the mindfulness is fading off, you are not happy. You take the mindfulness as another thing, as Dhamma, but that is also creating some kind of a restlessness. But now once you come up to the maturity, whether it is coming or whether it is staying or whether it is disappearing, you try to be equanimous, try to be contented. That is viraga and no special desire for mindfulness. You, despite in all the kind of thing, you develop mindfulness, but even that you develop and master it, galvanize it in the dispassionate way. And then Nirodha Nisita, earlier whenever you see your mindfulness is dissolving, disappearing, tapering off, you are not happy. Imagine you have 1 hour sitting here, and there you find mindfulness, and whenever you get up, that mindfulness is fading off. And now you are getting up with the idea as and when I am changing my posture from sitting to stand, standing to walking, what is happening to the mindfulness? And that is called clear comprehension. That's called you are mindful in the posture junctions. Sitting is this. When I'm getting up, small posture junctions, and then you start walking and go and attend some other works, what will happen to the mind? You're always observing the disappearing part of the mind, viraga nisita, and vassagga parinami. In order to gain mindfulness, you gave up your dear and near one, your familiar situations, and then only you gain mindfulness. When the mindfulness is growing, you are observing the disappearance of the mindfulness. That you are ready to give up mindfulness also. That's a kind of a galvanizing effect. So that is the best in the monk's life. The full-time meditation, all the basic needs are fairly assured. And then you are developing mindfulness, but you are not getting tense when the mindfulness is not there. Have mindfulness, good. And disappearing mindfulness, equally good. Because it is something happening, you have to observe. So likewise, the mindfulness enlightenment factor, you reinforce, you galvanize, you season in 4 ways. And then investigation fact of Dhamma. So earlier you take notes and by heart and accumulate all the knowledge about Dhamma, all the knowledge about juicy aspect of the meditative life. Well, that also come up to a certain maturity, and then it is not necessary. When you are face to face with the object, the Dhamma will arise, the knowledge will arise, the memory will come before more than keeping the notes. This is called you are getting the connection with the Akash library or cosmic knowledge. Because you are very free, you are very open to the present moment. Be 100% here. Don't depend on the theory. So that is how the investigation of Dhamma come into the maturity. And energy. It is like in pole vault jump. To go to the peak, you have to be so synchronizing and hold the pole in such a way, and at the peak, jettisoning the pole, and you get a jump. And then you have to throw the pole and the vault. And there, the energy aspect coming to the peak, you are just turning around the bar. And up to that, so much of energy. But at that time, there's a special skill not to touch the bar. Then if it is so, you will fail. You have to just put the ball. So likewise, when you come up to the highest level, the mature energy aspect will be mature. Things happen in effortlessly, in an autopilot mode. You won't believe as the beginning. So this is how it happens, the energy aspect. And then the peaking, when you are associating with PT at the beginning, it's very hilarious. It is really, really rejuvenating. But ultimately, it is also happening. It is not much. It is nothing to throw parties. It is part and parcel. So that PT also come up to level, it is in a sustainable level. And Passaddhi, you are tranquil. Sometimes you are quite agitated, and no sooner you can become tranquilized. So therefore, even if you become agitated, you don't care, just like the mind jar. You can shake it, shake it, shake it. And then you leave it, naturally it is settling down. And when it is happening, as a result, the concentration can happen. So concentrate in the highly valued thing in the meditative life. But unless otherwise the proximate causes are there, just by mere wish you can't take it. At the beginning it takes long time for you to align the power line. But when the maturity happens, so you learn. If it is not suitable, you don't strive, you don't try. You know this is not the time. But when the time permits, when about to get our line gets straightened, you know that is the time. Just like upland farmers, they know how the rain cycle happen. So they are waiting the climate and the cloud formation to happen. Then only they go ahead and do harrowing and all the kind of thing. So likewise, you understand the livelihood pattern as well as the concentration, and therefore the equanimity is almost at your fingertips, very close. So that even you have to be equanimous about equanimity also. So when that is happening, you can't claim this mindfulness as mine. You can't claim this investigation as mine. You can't claim this energy as mine, because they are now happening in a autopiloting way, effortless way. So much so, you are disclaiming your egotism, egocentric kind of calculation, Dhamma itself gathering the momentum. Because this is the way the simple aspect of breath. Through mindfulness and this, with 7 enlightenment factors evolving, ultimately your early goals, your expectation, all dissolved. Every other place, you are reaching the goal, reaching the target. But in this way, when you are reaching, that's also not there. Egotism also not there. But there is a kind of an experience is there. So it is for the sake of humanity. It is not for you. So you keep on practicing. Ultimately, when that situation happens, there's a very good vibration is there. So that is what we call sasana or dispensation. So therefore, we are trying our best to merge with that. So that is the conclusive part of this Anapanasati Sutta and the conclusion of the 7 enlightenment factors. So we all are in our way back home. With that remark, I'd like to sum up today's talk, and that will be the end of the series. Thank you very much for participating.